Greetings from Toledo. I'm Dave Perdue, the trademark Wahoo. This is the fishing report for July 2016. Our report today involves the biggest fish in the Maumee River, the catfish. My daughter and I know younger fishermen who have had good success finding 25, 30, 35 pound catfish in the river. Well, we've seen pictures, so we tend to believe it. And we decided it should be our turn to go down to the river and see if we could find one of those big catfish. One of the most important things about catfishing is to understand that catfish are nocturnal and they become very active feeders after the sun goes down. We made a plan to go upriver from Maumee, where we live, to Grand Rapids, Ohio, about a 10-mile trip up the river. We went by car instead of boat because it's upriver. Big catfish in the river should be approached with big tackle. So our first stop was Maumee Valley Bait and Tackle Store. We showed up and we admitted right away that this would be our first attempt at finding the big cats in the Maumee River. And the gentleman said, you take some green worms and you put a bobber on and you let your bait float down with the current. My daughter and I looked at each other, and at the same time we said, green worms? The gentleman explained that he was selling night crawlers that have been fed a substance that makes them green. And not just green, but a fluorescent type green. That sounded great. So we bought green worms and bobbers, and the biggest hooks that we've ever used in fresh water. That would be a 5-knot, as the fisher folks like to say. Because we planned to fish after dark, we set ourselves up with headlamps on headbands, and we put fresh batteries in our headlamps. We drove up to Grand Rapids and we parked at the Mary Jane Thurston Park, and we walked over the bridge which crosses the canal on which an awful lot of commerce was conducted in the 1800s. We walked down to the riverbank on large concrete steps, and we were just below the Grand Rapids Dam, and we undertook to wade out into the river. It was just about dusk, and I got about 10 steps before I fell down. And Sarah seemed very concerned. Dad, are you all right? And so I gave her the thumbs up. Yeah, I'm fine. And then we walked out, I don't know, 30 feet, very shallow there. We were on a rock ledge. And I found out exactly where the edge of that ledge is when I stepped off of it. And so that was my second trip into the water. And it came up to about my waist. The Maumee River right now is very shallow because we've had a very dry spell that's run about 4 weeks. The fishing holes are not that deep. And we decided we'd fish right off that ledge because a 4 feet deep hole was a pretty good size hole and probably held giant catfish. We turned on our headlamps and discovered that bugs really like light at that time of night. And we put the green worms on our 5-knot hooks, and we cast out our lines, and we waited. And let me put it this way. The last time that Sarah and I caught a catfish in the river was last summer. We caught nothing on our night fishing trip except big fun and a chance to be together and tell stories. We're not going to give up on the big cats. We're going to refocus next month in August on the smallmouth bass. Probably use crayfish or crawdads, as they call them some places. See if we have any luck. I know we'll have fun. Remember, you'll do better in Toledo.